Well, hello there, my dear friend. How are you? I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever it is that you find yourself. Welcome to our Coaching Corner, another episode here on YouTube with me, your coach, Sabrina Militello. I am a life and performance coach and also founder of Empower Her Coaching, recently stepping into my executive era in my professional environment. And what I wanted to bring you today is a conversation about how powerful women make decisions without getting stuck in the overthinking spiral. With the shift that I've experienced this is only my second full week in this role, but getting to the point where I was in a position to accept this kind of senior level position in a corporate environment was by making powerful, strong decisions every step of the way, even when I was deep in my messy middle. And when I talk about my messy middle, I hope that maybe you can find correlation with either your current experience or where you've experienced that space before in your growth, in your process, your transition, your process of change, of transformation. You've also experienced that those moments where you just feel as if nothing is working, everything you're doing is just falling flat, nothing is giving you the progress and the momentum that you so desire, and it feels so hard and so frustrating, and you can feel really defeated in that process. And one of the things that I see a lot in the women that come to me for their performance coaching is they use that ick and that discomfort and that hard almost as a engine to fuel their overthinking, to fuel their self-doubt. It fuels their procrastination and their perfectionism. It fuels all of these kind of ways of being that keep them stuck in the messy middle. The thing that differentiates where I was able to find myself was I was able to continue making decisions even in the mess. And I want to share with you today how you can go about doing that, what has been the block for you being able to do that, so that you do get to a place where one day you look back and you don't even realize that you've projected yourself out of the messy middle and you're now in a brand new beginning, which is so exciting, and you feel so fulfilled and you feel so energized about the future and where it is that you're going. That's the energy that I want you to be able to grab with both hands and use to continue to fuel your progress forward. Deal? All right, so I've got 3 main teaching points that I want to get over to you today, and I'm going to give you very practical applications of these so that you can take this lesson and go and start making decisions that are going to propel you forward powerfully. Okay, I've got some notes here because you know your girl likes to talk, so I want to keep on track. So point number 1 that I really want to drill home to you is that powerful women make decisions from their identity, who they know themselves to be, not from the emotions they experience in the moment. Now listen. When I was deep in, even before my most recent messy middle, when I was at rock bottom, when I was deep in my binge purge cycles of behavior, when I was stuck in starting over, like every Monday I was starting again, every 2 days I was starting again. When I was deep in that rhythm and in that space, it was my emotions that were leading the way. My decisions were coming from an emotional place, not from the version of myself that I truly wanted to step into and who I truly wanted to lead the way. I felt frustrated, so I behaved a certain way. I felt disgusted by myself, so I did certain things. I felt defeated by my lack of progress, so I went and did X, Y, and Z behavior. You can see it was my emotional state that drove the actions that I took. And the thing about that I need you to understand is that we end up taking permanent, very decisive actions from an impermanent state. Our emotions are unstable, right? They're fleeting. They change every 2 to 5 seconds. We can be in a really heightened state about one thing, and then we see something else and we shift, and now we're in an emotional state about that thing, completely forgetting about the last thing. Our emotions are constantly shifting. They're constantly changing. They're not to be relied upon. And yet the actions we take from that emotional place, whether that's binging and purging, emotionally eating, having a fight with your spouse, yelling at your kid, quitting your job, saying nasty things to your friend, going online and hate spewing all over someone's post. I hope you don't do these things, but I know human nature, right? We react and we act in very decisive ways that are potentially permanently damaging from an impermanent, not to be trusted state. Everything shifted for me when I stopped asking myself, what do I feel like doing right now? What sounds good to me right now? What feels like it would be a good idea right now? And I started instead making decisions with the thought, what would the woman that I want to become do in this moment? What would she choose? What decision would she make? What action would she take? And it seems like such a simple, rudimentary thing, like just ask yourself a better question, but truly ask yourself a better question rather than what do I feel like doing right now? Because most of us, if we're honest, if we asked ourselves that question as soon as we wake up in the morning, most of us would choose to stay in bed with the duvet over our head and continue sleeping for the rest of the day than go and show up at your job so that you're a reliable employee, so that you earn your paycheck, so that you don't get fired. Show up for your business so that you can build and grow what is going to be your future nest egg and how it is that you want to impact and serve your community. Most of us would choose the easier thing in the moment than what we know we should do. So instead of always acting based off of how you feel, you ask yourself, you give yourself the space to ask that question, what would the woman that I want to become choose right now? Think about that. I really want you to think about that, because what I know to be true is that identity-based decision-making is what moves the needle. It's what broke the cycle for me. It's what stopped me from being so reactionary and being stuck in that loop of trigger, behavior, consequence, trigger, behavior, consequence. And if you think about it, they all feed into each other, right? If your trigger is somebody pissed you off, and so you go and eat your feelings, the consequence of which you continue to feel disgusted by yourself, and you just feel so defeated and frustrated about why you can't figure this out so you can finally lose weight or have that level of health you want, that puts you in another triggered state that then causes the same behavior to perpetuate. Like, it's a cycle. And the way to break that cycle is identity-based decision-making. So I want you to really think about how your emotions, how you can start seeing them rather than being the direction that they're pushing you towards, that they're calling for you to go, rather look at them as data. What is this emotion telling me I need to work on? Maybe if you get triggered by something your boss said to you, that's valuable information you need about how to up-level your emotional intelligence, or a skill set that you need to go and develop so that you're not in that position again. Or maybe it's highlighting to you that the company culture you're involved in is not where you want to be, and so maybe you should go and look for a different job. Like, your emotions can be data points for you rather than seeing them as like an arrow for you to take a particular action. I would love for you to start to shift how you relate to your emotions that way, because that very much could be the thing that helps you break the cycle, right? When you get to higher levels too, so I'm talking to you from my CXO position right now. When you're at these higher levels in your career, or you're wanting to get to these higher levels in your career, you can't base your decisions on your mood anymore. And you probably have experienced that. If you're a parent, you know that you can't function based off of your mood alone, can you? Because you've got another human being that you need to keep alive. You've got children that you need to ship to X, Y, and Z place. You've got their activities that you need to get them to. You've got student, teacher, parent, whatever that thing is that you've got to, I'm not a parent, as you can tell, that you've got to go to and be present at. You've got collaboration that you have to do with your spouse to figure out what's happening with the kids, or what your value system of parenting is, or whatever. Your mood does not get to dictate the actions that you take as a parent, and that's a higher level of operation. So whether you're operating at a higher level because your career demands it, or because your new role or status in life demands it, it's important to know that you can't make decisions based on your mood anymore. Your decisions have to be based on your values, the outcome that you wish to see, whether you're in alignment with where it is that you want to go, the vision that you have for your future, or how your family unit is gonna develop. Can you see what I'm saying? So I've got a practical tip that I want to take away, and I've written this down for you. I want to give you this 3-step filter in which to kind of run your decisions through. So before you make a decision, ask yourself these 3 questions. 1, who am I committed to becoming? Your boss just pissed you off. You're driving home and you're planning your binge session on Netflix that you know you're then going to purge because you know how your body's going to feel after that session. This may be triggering to you. It may be something that is very close to home for you. The reason I can speak on this so powerfully is because this was my exact experience, and the coaching I provide is identity-led. It's all lived experience as well as the theoretical knowledge that I've gathered, all right? So you're in that situation, you're on your drive home, you're planning this. Give yourself a second and ask yourself, who am I committed to becoming? Yes, I'm in this pissed off state. Yes, that's the thing that sounds so good to me to be able to go and do right now. It's going to make me feel better. It's going to let me veg out. It's going to let me numb. But ask yourself, who am I committed to becoming? Question number 2, what decision would she make right now? In this car, having gone through that same experience, your boss pissed you off, what decision would she make right now on this drive home? And then number 3, ask yourself, the decision that I'm about to make, does that move me closer to her, or does it take me further away from her? 3-step filter. Who am I committed to becoming? What decision would she make in this situation? And the decision that I'm driving towards, is that moving me closer to her or further away from her? That's identity-based decision-making in a very neat nutshell, okay? And that's the thing that I want you to focus on. It's very simple. There's no spiraling there. There's no 47 tabs open in your brain there. It's very simple, 3-step filter that you can take your emotion through in order to start making decisions that are aligned with the version of yourself that you want to become. All right. So that piece, powerful women decide based on identity, not emotion. Okay. Number 2, you need to understand that overthinking. So we're talking about how powerful women make decisions, right? Without overthinking. That overthinking is usually some form of self-protection. We don't think about it like that, do we? We don't think about it like that because we think that overthinking is a thinking problem. If I could just get my brain to shut off. The amount of times I've said that to myself, or I've heard that coming from one of my clients, I've heard that coming out of one of my communities, I've heard that in my conversations in the DMs with you on social media. If I could just get my brain to shut off. Overthinking is not a thinking problem. Do you know what it is? It's a sense of safety problem. Your brain may have just exploded a little bit. So let me explain. And I wrote this out in depth so I could really dive into this with you. Let me take my weight loss struggle or my weight loss journey as an example. For me, when I was deep in that process, when I was struggling deeply through that, overthinking was self-protection, right? If I was stuck in overthinking, then I didn't actually have to do the uncomfortable things to change the trajectory of my health. I would think, what if I fail again? Why should I start this diet? What if I fail again? Then I wouldn't have to start the diet, right? What if I try this and it doesn't work? Overthink on that so I wouldn't have to start the diet, right? Put myself in a position where it potentially wouldn't work for me to be disappointed again, right? What if I can't do it? Overthink and ruminate on that so I wouldn't actually have to take the action to maybe prove that I couldn't do it. So it wasn't that I was overthinking, like my brain just wouldn't shut off. The overthinking was a manifestation or let's go with that. I can't think of a better word. A manifestation of my need for self-protection. Are you following? So my brain was the thing that was keeping me in that stalled position, right? I was stuck. My brain was keeping me in there as a form of self-protection. Because if I could stay thinking, if I could stay in the discovery process, if I could stay in the let's try and figure this out process, I didn't actually have to be doing the things. I didn't actually have to stop my self-soothing behaviors. I didn't actually have to stop the sweet treats and the date nights and the eating whatever I wanted to eat. I didn't actually have to do the uncomfortable thing of changing my nutrition, having to face the negative emotions instead of numbing from them with my food habits and behaviors. You see what I'm saying? The same thing is happening for you. If you find yourself, and I'm talking to women that are wanting to elevate in their career, right? That's you. Or you're wanting to start a business, or you're wanting to grow your business. You're wanting to do something that is going to carve out a path for you and your future, okay? So the same thing is happening for you. You're not posting, you're not launching the business, you're not applying for that job, you're not raising your prices, you're not asking for the raise, you're not leaving your job, you're not committing to that program, you're not saying yes to that solution. And you think it's because your brain won't shut off and you can't stop overthinking. No. Your brain is protecting you. You're in self-protection mechanism. Because how do I say this without like making you want to punch me through the screen? Overthinking is often simply fear. Fear of being exposed as incapable. Fear of being exposed as not enough. Fear of being exposed as you can't do it. And not necessarily fear of exposure of other people being able to see that, but it being reflected back to you. And if you're anything like me, you have the foundational stories of all of those things. I'm not enough, I can't do it, I'm incapable, I don't get chosen, I'm not worthy. You've got those foundational stories, right? You've got those things that tell you that it's not possible for you, you're not capable. And so the very hardest thing you could put yourself through is trying to pursue something that then reflects the truth, the validity of those foundational stories back to you. I understand that. So can you see now how overthinking is potentially a self-protection mechanism? Can you see that? The thing that you have to shift into is knowing that in order to really become powerful in your life, so to become a powerful decision maker, to become someone who powerfully steps into their next level, to become someone who powerfully leads with an up-leveled identity, you have to learn to tolerate that discomfort. You have to learn to tolerate being your imperfections being reflected back to you. You have to learn to tolerate being misunderstood. You have to learn to tolerate people pushing back at you for setting boundaries or for daring to dream bigger and sharing that with them. You have to tolerate those levels of discomfort. You have to, because thinking and ruminating and spiraling doesn't create the clarity you need to move forward. Moving forward creates the clarity. Getting into action is what gives you the clarity to continue to take action. And it sounds so like, like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? But really, you have to get into a place where you can tolerate discomfort enough to take the clarifying action. Take the action now, get the clarity after, that then fuels continued action. And it's a constant feedback loop like that, but you have to kick it off, all right? So the tool that I have for you for this, I said, I promised you that I would give you a tool for each of these 3 points. The tool that I have for you is a rule that I would like you to start following. The rule that I would like you to start following, that I learned from one of my very first mentors in this space, that has fueled so many of the things that I've created and started and scaled and said yes to and done. This is the rule. If you have 70% of the information, go. My rule is if I have 70% of the information, if I'm 70% clear, I move. I take the action and I figure it out as I go. I let the other 30% unveil itself to me. Unveil? Is that reveal itself to me as I go. You don't need 100% clarity before you make decisions. You don't need certainty. You don't need a guarantee of success before you go. 70% clarity allows you to take decisive action. If that's your baseline, take action and then know that you can make it great as you go. That has been a mantra for me in this era that I find myself in right now. In my executive position, I was brought on to deliver a specific measurable outcome. And I have said, from the CEO to the people that I kind of trickle all of this down to, I'm going to deliver you something great. We're going to make it excellent as we go. Set the expectation that what you're going to kick off with is not going to be the end result, because then it gives you the ability to kick off, right? If my intention was to deliver perfection, it would be December, 10 months from now, and I'd still be working on the thing, and there's no visible change within the organization, change that I was brought here to make, right? So I have set the expectation. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to work my little booty off to deliver you something great, but excellence comes as we go. We continue to refine it. We get feedback from the people that we're delivering it to. We continue to make it better, and we develop this part of it, and we shift this part of it, we change that part of it. We may remove that piece altogether because it sounded great in theory, but practically it doesn't really work. And we shift into this, like deliver something great, 70%, and then make it excellent as you go. That's the rule that I want you to start following. That principle has changed so many things for me. And like I just demonstrated, it continues to guide how I make decisions and how I show up so that I can make quick moves. We're not getting stuck in overthinking. We're not getting stuck in spiraling. We're not getting stuck in the of the decision-making process. We make decisive decisions. We take decisive action now. Okay? So how powerful women make decisions without overthinking. 1, they make decisions from their identity, not from their emotions. 2, recognizing that overthinking is often self-protection. So how do we break that? That 70% rule is golden. And the final point that I make for you here, and we're almost done. I know this is running a little bit longer, but I think this is such an important topic. The third point is understanding or really getting clear that decision-making builds trust. Not the results and the outcomes you get, but the process of making this decision. It builds self-trust. This one is deep, and I need you to get it, because this is probably the one that you'll have the most pushback on. You can get behind me with the identity-based thing, right? It blew your mind a little bit about the self-protection thing, but you understand that. This one hits a little bit harder, because you don't rebuild confidence because every decision works. I didn't build confidence in myself because every decision I made hit gold. I built confidence because I was able to continue making the decisions. I wasn't quitting on myself. The decision I made didn't hit gold. Okay, let's pivot, let's change, let's shift, let's adjust, let's try this. Decision. Continue making decisions instead of quitting and saying, which is a decision, but it's a decision that has a full stop on the end of it, right? The other decisions are almost like a ... or a colon or a semicolon. They lead to something else. The making of the decisions, the being in a rhythm of making decisions and not quitting, that's what builds confidence. Because self-trust grows when you decide things, when you follow through on things, when you assess and adjust as you go, when you don't collapse, when you don't give up, when you don't call it quits. The outcome is secondary. The result is almost irrelevant. I want you to think about it like that. Where can you detach from the outcome? And I know you've heard that before. People have been saying that in this personal growth space for forever and a day. I heard it when I first came into this environment over a decade ago. Detach from the outcome. That's what that means. This is what that means. Get into a rhythm of making decisions. Every outcome does not have to hit gold. In fact, with most of the decisions you'll make, you'll fail. You will. That's not the point. The point is continue to make decisions, continue to shoot your shot, continue to ship it, continue to make moves forward. Because what helped me lose over 100 pounds, build multiple businesses, step into this executive ridiculous job that I have in the most incredible, astounding way, being one of 3 female leaders of a corporation. It was this that made the difference. And I'm going to read you what I wrote down. In the moment that I wrote it down, there was a lot of emotion that came from these words that I wrote. And I'm going to read it to you. I am a woman who makes decisions powerfully and has her own back. I'm a woman who makes decisions powerfully and has her own back. That's the shift that I think you're craving, is that level of self-trust, that level of self-reverence. I talk about self-reverence a lot in my client coaching communities and in my one-on-one sessions, because it's something that I think us women have fundamentally lack. A rhythm or a habit of revering yourself, revering your ability, revering your qualities, revering how you walk into the room and the rooms that you occupy, revering the energy that you bring into your spaces, revering what you do and how you do it. That's the shift. You think that confidence comes after you've been successful, after you've hit gold, after you made this decision that blew it up. No, confidence comes from backing yourself in your decision-making process. This week, I want you to make one small decision. One. No polling of your friends, no phoning your friends, no spiraling, no, let me think about it for 3 more days, no, I'm just ruminating on this, no journaling for 5 weeks. Just one clean decision. I decided this is done, right? I decided this, that's it, done. And start making moves towards it. Make the decision, then hold it. Make the decision, then honor it. Make the decision, then put it into action. And if your nervous system just trembled a little bit, your sphincter just went a bit, that's growth. That's growth. That's the ask. You want change. You want growth. You want transformation. You want elevation. You want things to expand and evolve for you. And yet when the universe throws you the opportunities to do that, you shrink away. Stop shrinking. This is the growth opportunity for you right here, right now. All right. So to recap, how powerful women make decisions without overthinking. 1, they decide from identity, not emotion, and put yourself through that 3-step filter when making decisions. Who am I committed to becoming? What decision would she make in this moment? And the decision that I'm about to make, does that take me closer to her or pull me further away from her? Number 2, recognizing that overthinking is some form of self-protection. So allow yourself to make moves forward with 70% of the information, 70% of the clarity, 70% of the confidence, 70% of the know-how. Go. And number 3, decision-making is the thing that builds self-trust, not the outcome. And so this week, make one small, clean decision. I decided this is done, and then honor it in the actions that you take. This is it. This is how growth happens, all right? This is it. It's very, very simple, but I need you to integrate what we just talked about today and then take those practical steps to bring them to reality in your life, and then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's not rocket science, but it takes resilience, it takes grittiness, it takes commitment and discipline. That's the ask, all right? So that's it. That's all I have for you. I would be honored for us to have a further conversation. If you're thinking that you're in a place right now where you're tired of overthinking, you're tired of getting stuck in all of these destructive patterns of behaviors and cycles of thinking and all of that nonsense, and you're ready to commit and invest in your ability to move beyond that, I would love to invite you to talk to me about my Inevitable Woman one-on-one coaching practice. It's my one-on-one coaching experience that we do in a intimate container, just the 2 of us. It's mastered out for 12 weeks. There's always expansion ability with that. But I have a very proven framework and method to help you start stepping into the woman that you're always meant to become, the woman who knows that her success is inevitable because she's not going to quit. She's not going to let the hard moments completely take her out. If that's something you'd be interested in looking into, click on the link in the caption below and it'll take you to the application page where you can apply to work with me one-on-one. I would love the opportunity for us to do that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done that yet. If you need to keep this open as a tab so that you can keep coming back to these lessons, do that. If you want to share it with somebody because you think they would get something powerful out of it, do that. And if you want to share any of your comments or thoughts with me, I would love to hear them. So you can comment below or you can send me a DM, send me an email, whatever suits you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being willing to do this work. And I cannot wait to cheer for you as you change and shift the trajectory of your future. Have a great day.